Chad Kinemon, like he's had a complete revamp since we came back from Odin's flashback. Like he's more confident now, more taking the leadership role, just more of a boss. He's just a Chad now. I'm loving it. Like this panel with him and Denjiro when they're like, just standing next together. They're like, you underestimating us? So cool. And then we're seeing like them coming up to Onigashima. So let's break down, because I think this is the first time that we're seeing the landscape of the island like this. I mean, obviously we've seen the skull and all that stuff before, but like fully seeing everything here, it looks pretty cool. I really like the artwork from Oda here. There's so many things to look at here. I mean, it's just beautiful. But let's just try to break it down, because I'm sure you've seen that gigantic katana, as we all did, and it's intriguing. It's like, okay, whose katana was that? Why is it so big? Why is it there? I mean, we can only really speculate right now, but this might be Chekhov's katana too. Like this might come into play later on in the arc. Like maybe somebody decides to use it. I don't know who could, because it's like freaking huge. I mean, if you see the perspective of this thing compared to like the ships that they're in, it's like the size of oars. And I was thinking like, okay, maybe a continent puller used this thing or something, like oars or oars junior, but even they would have difficulty handling this thing. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but just I'm thinking about how big oars would be, and I assume it'd be as big as this sword. But also, if we go to the landmark of Onigashima, the thing that distinguishes it is that the big skull with the horns. I'm thinking that this was like a legitimate thing. I don't think this is like architecture. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe somebody carved this out of a mountain or something, but this might be like a legitimate, like, I don't know, maybe one of the biggest continent pullers that existed back in the day. And maybe this skull there is what they're using as like their base possibly. And maybe it's this huge continent puller dude that has that sword. Like maybe the sword was his, or maybe somebody used the sword to take him down possibly. I don't know, so many fun speculations here, but I do expect for that giant sword to come back, because why not? Also, we're getting another little awesome moment from Usopp in this chapter, where he's just like, Midori Bushi! And he just takes out the beast pirates on the outlook, cleanly. Just, it's always fun when Usopp gets to do something and it's not just him getting clowned or something. So then, coming back to Chad Kinemon with this awesome moment where they're like straight up sinking their ships. This is so cool, because it's like he says that they must sink because we won't need the ships to return back, because there's only one option here, and it's win. Losing is not an option here. So they're going there all or nothing. That's it. Dropping the ships down below. I love it. This is such a boss moment. And I also like that, Jinbei is like, he's laying it out for us. He's like, but if we arrive with, such an amount of ships in such an open place, our arrival will alert them. So this is just canceling that out, but also giving a total boss moment to Kinemon and the rest of the scabbards and samurais in general. Love this sequence here. So cool. And I also like, we got to continue the Kinemon stuff, because this is like his chapter pretty much. He, I don't know, uses like a more advanced version of his devil fruit, which I don't think we've seen before. And obviously, all devil fruits have layers to them. It's not just what the ability that we know on the surface. So with Kinemon, he has like a super thing that he can do, and it's just where he's just like changing everyone's outfit in the vicinity. Now, we don't have an exact number here, but it has to be hundreds of people. I mean, maybe he changed the outfits of everyone. Maybe that's like the full extent of his fruit ability, where he could just thousands of people changing their costumes, whether they want to or not. He just does it. And it's he's making them into looking like the Beast Pirates, which is awesome, because this also makes sense, because he's like, hey, look, we're severely outnumbered here, so you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. It's about 5-1 here. So if you blend in, nobody's going to really know who's who, and that will give them a better chance at victory without just getting completely squashed in the beginning. And it's kind of unfortunate, because we were all hyped when Luffy had the captain's jacket on. And I was even thinking, like, there's no way Luffy is going to keep this jacket on for too long. It's just too cool, and it just, I don't know, it never really works out that way. But, the caveat to Kinemon's like ultimate transformation thing here is that if you get damaged, if the clothes get damaged or you take them off, then you revert back to what you were wearing beforehand, or at least that's what I'm getting here. So these are all going to be temporary. Like, don't expect everyone to be staying in these Beast Pirate outfits, even though Nami looks pretty good in it. They're going to get roughed up in this battle, obviously, or some of them are going to take it off or whatever, and then everybody will slowly revert back to their original aesthetics and stuff like that. So then we're coming to the Onigashima party, and I'm loving this. I'm loving how everybody's just vibing out, just having a good time, even though they are the bad guys and we're not supposed to like them. But how can you not root for everyone? I mean, it just goes back to Oda's writing and everything. You got to love it. But I love that Apu is on the turntables. He's pretty much like the musician of the crew here. And then we have Queen dancing. Queen's such a cool character. And also Queen says something interesting. It's like, if I get too skinny, I'll get pretty. I'll get too pretty. But we actually have seen what skinny Queen looks like. I'll put a picture right here. Oda put this in the latest SBS. I'm pretty sure it came out like last month maybe, or maybe earlier this month. Doesn't look pretty. Actually, Queen looks better in his plus size, or her plus size. I don't know what Queen's pronoun is, but, Queen looking better, plus size. Anyway, so we're coming to Queen roll calling everyone, like in this, dance musical sequence thing. And this is just establishing all of the people that are going to be involved in this battle, which is nice. This is a cool way to put it. So, of course, we have the waiters, the pleasures, the gifters. We've known about them. This is the dynamic of the Beast Pirates, aside from the tall pecking order. But then we're coming to the Shinuchi, or however you pronounce it, the Gifter Elite. Were we made aware of this before? Maybe we were. I just don't remember. I mean, so much has been happening in this arc that it's hard to keep up with every little detail that has been revealed so far. But maybe this is the first time we've seen the Gifter Elite. I don't know. That girl that we see in this panel, she looks familiar, so maybe we've seen them before. But I also like this because, there has to be a Gifter Elite, obviously, and these individuals are going to be, prominent for the weaker people of the Alliance. They'll have somebody to fight like that, because aside from the Gifter Elite, everybody else is way too overpowered for just to have everybody casually fighting, so that's what they're there for. But also let me point out that Orochi, when we see him in this panel, we also see Queen and Big Mom's children. So that's letting us know that, okay, yeah, Big Mom's children are there. In case we forgot, Big Mom is there. She brought some people with her on her boat. I think she brought Smoothie, Sparrow, and maybe Daifuku. I don't really remember. I'd have to go back and look it up, which I clearly haven't, but anyway, I think it's interesting that they're not showing them for some reason, but they are letting us know, hey, we've got a pretty overpowered roster here, so just don't forget that. But anyway, coming to the Flying Six, I'm loving these guys. I really wasn't expecting much from the Flying Six, but they're super cool. And Uruti, or however you pronounce her name, candidate for best girl already. I'm really liking this character. I love her attitude. She's very aesthetically appealing, too. I'm liking her design. But I'm really liking Uruti. And then also we're seeing Page One, who is Uruti's brother in his human form. Because before that, we've only seen him in his hybrid Zoan form, which is pretty cool. But he looks younger than what I thought. And I'm sure Uruti is around his age too. So maybe they're young 20s, maybe late teens, something like that. And then we're seeing Who's Who. Pretty cool design. Black Maria. She's some kind of Shirahoshi. I don't think she's as big as Shirahoshi, but not big enough to be a giant either. So I'm not sure what's going on with her. Maybe she's just a big lady, or maybe she has some kind of fruit ability that's allowing her to do it. And then we've got Sasaki, who looks like he would fit right into Impel Down. But going back to X-Drake, huge reveal about him. So it turns out that if Queen or Jack or just one of the All-Stars were to step down, the next in line would be X-Drake, which is pretty revealing about his insane power, because we already know X-Drake was ridiculous. When we went to Sabaody and we saw the supernovas going against each other, and it was kind of establishing the pecking order of them, who was the strong ones, who was the middle of the ground ones, and X-Drake was clearly up there at the top of the scale. The way that he was competing against the pacifistas compared to everybody else definitely showed that Drake was a cut above the rest. And this is just showing that he's stronger than what we even thought. This is pretty much confirming that he may or may not be legitimately Yonko commander level. And I'm not talking 15th division on Whitebeard's crew. I'm talking Smoothie, Cracker, Queen, Jack. Maybe he's around that level. But also we can't forget that Drake is a part of SWORD. He's a SWORD agent here, so he's a double agent, and he is going to turn mid-battle. So this is a huge asset for the Alliance here to have like such a powerhouse like X-Drake on their side. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the review, guys. We're going to have a break next week, and then we'll come back the week after that, and then we'll have another break. So it's going to be like 2 breaks in the next 4 weeks. So look out for that. But if you like the review, guys, please give it a like. Let me know what you thought about this chapter in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.